Hello and welcome back to the Vegan Runner. Today we're taking a really close look at one of my favourite workouts, scientifically proved to get you running faster, the fartlek. I'm just getting warmed up to do my session, which sees me running in a range of different zones, at different speeds, at different lengths of time. Can't wait. Let's go. First rep, zone 4, uphill, 1 minute. Zone 3, 2 minutes. Third rep, 3 minutes in zone X. Back to zone 3, 2 minutes, just 1 minute rest here between each rep. Starting to bite a little bit. Okay, another 3 minutes in zone X.
Hello and welcome back to Beside the Fireplace. I love that run. 7 miles of speed, sprints and spring sunshine. I'm in a good mood and that's because I've been fartlecking all over Devon. Bad jokes aside, this video is the third in a brand new series designed to help runners of all levels to run faster by introducing scientifically backed and real-world tried and tested workouts to your training. We'll dive deeper into the 20 that makes up 80-20 training and give you a clear insight into the 20% of higher intensity workouts, how they're structured, what they're focused on improving, some sample workouts so you can incorporate them into your own training, as well as some tips and tricks that I've figured out through my real-world experience along the way. You don't have to be using the 80-20 training method to incorporate the workouts into your training, but as an 8020endurance.com ambassador,
Look, I have a hat.
I fully recommend it. It's allowed me to run consistently and injury-free for almost 18 months, all whilst increasing the mileage and running a half marathon PB of 1:18 and my first ever marathon in 2 hours and 57 minutes. If you want to find out more about 80-20 training or try out a plan, check out the links in the description in this video. Right, fartlek, let's get into it. First, a little bit of history. Fartlek is one of the oldest interval training methods I've ever used. Developed by Swedish sports coach Gustav Holmer in the 1930s, the story goes that after being thrashed by the Finnish cross-country team for a decade in the 20s, Gustav wanted his athletes to be able to train for as long as possible above race pace, presumably to maximise VO2 gains, whilst also training his athletes to be able to shift gears. Now this makes a lot of sense if you've ever run on trails, and especially in a race situation. It's a completely different beast from running on smooth, flat tarmac. You need to battle that shifting surface, those lumps and bumps in the terrain, as well as constant changes in elevation. So compared to typical track or road running, you constantly need to adjust your intensity levels and, in running terms, shift gears to match the course. So fartlek became a massive part of Swedish athletes running. They'd often incorporate fartlek into their training from 3 to 5 times a week, and under Gustav Holmer's coaching, Swedish athletes set records in every distance from 2 miles up to 10k. Since then, fartlek has been adopted and adapted by many coaches and sports scientists and has enjoyed an increase in popularity with recreational runners in recent years. Okay, history lesson out of the way. What exactly is fartlek? So in a nutshell, it's playing around with speed. That's what fartlek means in Swedish, speed play. It's running where you might be sprinting for 30 seconds at one point and then at marathon race pace for another. You might be digging into the top end of zone 4 for a few minutes and then enjoying a blissful mile in zone 2. And the best thing about fartlek, you're the boss. You decide how you want to structure it, if you want to structure it at all. You can run it anywhere, on any terrain. You don't need a watch or a heart rate monitor. You can just lace up and get out there. See a hill coming? Maybe you want to try getting up it at a steady pace and then sprinting off the top. Or you could try just going up hard up the hill as hard as you can and then taking it easy once you reach the summit. or maybe maintain an even pace from top to bottom. It's all up to you. Play around with speed, play around with running. It's a great workout to inject some fun into your training. I love it, I think you're going to love it too, but how does it make you faster? Interestingly, and despite Fartlek being around for so long, there are very few studies of athletes using Fartlek and how it improved their running. This might be because of the kind of experimental nature of Fartlek and how similar it is to interval training generally. There's plenty of science out there backing up interval training, but in the few studies that I found on Fartlek, they all agree on one thing. Fartlek training significantly improves muscular endurance. And in one study, even calf muscles were found to recruit 3 times as many muscle fibers in athletes that used Fartlek in their training. So Fartlek appears to lead to stronger muscles that last longer. In the past 90 years since Swedish runners started using speed play, a lot of experimentation, scientific study and training methods have been developed, and it's thought by most coaches and sports scientists these days that integrating a range of different workout types into your training is the most effective way to train. Not only to work on a whole range of physical and psychological attributes, but also to keep things fresh and to keep up that enjoyment of running. And this is why I'm making this series. There are plenty of more awesome workouts to come, so hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss one, and keep your training fresh and keep on getting faster. So I've been using Fartlek training from the very early days of my running journey, and I've picked up a few tips and tricks along the way which I think you might find useful. As I mentioned earlier, Fartlek sessions can be performed anywhere, so it's a great excuse to explore new routes or run on surfaces that you wouldn't normally run on. So if you're in the throes of marathon training, you're probably doing the majority of your running on roads or something like a track. It can get pretty monotonous, especially mid-training block, so a Fartlek run can really help to just add a bit of fun and excitement and explore a new area. On the other hand, it can really help to liven up an old route. So if you're like me, you like a routine and a habit, so I know I tend to run the same sections of a route, pretty much the same intensity level, and our bodies just kind of get into that rhythm and learn that pattern of movement. Fartlek can really help to break that cycle up and just make you run the same old route in a different way. So don't feel like you need to head to the track. You can find a route anywhere, a new one, an old one, it's up to you. My next tip is to head out of the door with some idea of what you want to achieve. I recommend your Fartlek session is around 45 to 60 minutes long. That's obviously depending on your running level and your running experience. It could be 20, 40 minutes long. However long you're going out for, just have a rough idea of what you want to do. So, for example, you might say, I'm going to do a mile as a warm-up, then I definitely want to try at least 3 all-out sprints in my Fartlek session, and then some longer, maybe quarter-mile sections above race pace. Or if you know the route really well, and let's say there are 3 decent hills, you might tell yourself that you're going to go hard up every hill, rest, and then throw in some race pace effort into the session as well. I've found going out of the door with some idea in my head of what I want to do to be really helpful, because left to my own devices whilst running, I can quite happily just not push myself quite as hard as maybe I should do and follow the path of least resistance, really. So having a goal in mind just helps to make the most of your Fartlek session. My final tip goes against the grain of the spirit of Fartlek slightly, but you'll see why it can be useful in a second. So my final bit of advice is to feel free and follow a structured Fartlek workout like the ones designed by the 80/20 endurance team, links below. These sessions are cleverly structured to make sure you're covering a whole range of intensities for different durations, and you've got all of your bases covered. Also, that structured workout doesn't give a damn about the surface that you're running on. So let's say the next interval coming up is 3 minutes at race pace, and as that timer ticks down to the start of the interval, you hit a demon of a hill. Well, there's no point arguing with yourself, and you've just got to get up there and get it done. It's great for building a bit of mental resilience by running at different intensities with no regard for the elevation or terrain. And that brings me nicely to sharing a few Fartlek session ideas with you. As you can imagine, there are literally hundreds of different Fartlek sessions out there, so I'm just going to share 2 of my favourites and the session that I did today to give you some ideas on how to get started. This session is one of the most popular variations of a fartlek workout and is pretty adaptable no matter where you're running in the world. In the UK we might call this a lamppost fartlek, so you warm up for 10 to 15 minutes, then run hard. That could be a sprint or an above race pace effort for 2 lampposts, recover, could be a walk, easy jog for 3 lampposts, then back to a hard effort for 2 more lampposts and repeat. Do this for about 20 to 30 minutes before a 10 to 15 minute cool down. Of course, adjust it to your own running level. It doesn't have to be lampposts. When I was living on Dartmoor, sometimes I would use different species of trees in the hedgerows, or what I'd like to call a gorse fartlek, or you could use mailboxes if you live in the States, or pretty much whatever is around you that comes up pretty regularly. This next session is really fun and works really well if you're a parkrun fanatic. On parkrun morning, pick a parkrun milestone t-shirt, could be 25, 50 or 100, and every time you see someone wearing one of those t-shirts, run at a certain pace until you see the next milestone t-shirt. So it might be you choose 50 as run easy and 100 as run hard. This works better if you're at a larger parkrun. A parkrun with only like 30 hardcore regulars with only 1 or 2 milestone t-shirts might make for a really interesting run. But you can adapt this to different paces for different t-shirt colours. There's loads of possibilities, and if you're not lucky enough to be able to get to a parkrun, you can use the colours of cars, doors. Even if you run around a park, you could, every time you see a dog, change pace or whatever it might be. Finally, something a little more structured. This is the workout that I did today. Bear with me as there's a lot of numbers and times here. If you're not familiar with the heart rate zones, the higher the number, the faster you go. So just to give you an idea of what's going on here, I warmed up in zone 2 for 15 minutes, then I ran for a minute in zone 4, 1 minute in zone 2, then 2 minutes in zone 3, a minute in zone 2 followed by 3 minutes in zone X, then another minute in zone 2, 2 more minutes in zone 3, another minute in zone 2, a fast minute in zone 4, back to zone 2 for a minute, zone 3 again for 2 minutes, then zone 2 for a minute, zone X for 3 minutes, zone 2 for a minute, zone 4 for a minute, and finally zone 2 for a minute for a 15-minute cooldown in zone 1. It looks a lot more complicated than it is, but it's one of the reasons I like using the plans from 8020endurance.com. All of the workouts in their plans are built for you. You can get them sent to your watch. It's all there, structured. You don't have to do any of the thinking, and it just means you get to concentrate on the running. Right, I really hope that's inspired you to give fartlek a try. As I always say, the most important aspect of running faster is to use a blend of different workout types, so be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it might just make me smile. There's plenty more of these videos to come, so no matter whether you've just completed your first 5k or you're getting ready to smash your 100th marathon, I'm sure you're going to find something that's new to you and can help you to run faster. If there's a particular workout you'd like to see covered, or if you have any questions about the fartlek workout, then leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, be the best you.